Hello YouTube, welcome back. Today is a very special day. It is September 1st, meaning that the Sealey challenge ended yesterday. Now, for those of you who've seen the title on this video, I was 6 books away, but honestly, 31 books in 1 month, even though poetry books tend to be on the shorter side, is still a very challenging goal. And I'm honestly just very impressed with myself that I was even able to read 25 books in a month. Like, what? And I was also reading Trick Mirror on the side, so I think I did pretty good. So today I figured I would just film a wrap-up video of which books I read and my general thoughts about the entire experience. Okay, so as I mentioned, I read 25 books in total and 8 of those were chapbooks. I do have a pile of physical books here that I read, so maybe let's start out there and then I'll list the full-length ebooks that I read and then the chapbooks at the end. I have the library books on the top of this pile, and there's only 2 physical library books that I actually ended up reading. I think I borrowed 4 physical library books in total, and then the rest of the books I got from the library I got as ebooks. So here's the first one. This is An American Sunrise by Joy Harjo. Next up we have Flyover Country by Austin Smith. Okay, so next in the pile are books that I owned before the challenge started that I really wanted to read. So first up is Voyage of the Sable Venus and Other Poems by Robin Coss Lewis. Then we have Falling Awake by Alice Oswald. Next is Actual Air by David Berman, Bluettes by Maggie Nelson, Crush by Richard Sykin, and A Nail the Evening Hangs On by Monica Sock. Now, as you will have noticed, there are a few books over here that I had been intending to read all month, but didn't get around to. I think I just got a little too excited when borrowing books from the library and ended up borrowing way too many books. So I was trying to get through those before I had to return them because I was like, oh, these books I already have, so I'll not have to return them ever, right? But then I clearly didn't even finish the books I got from the library, so that's kind of what happened there. I still do intend to finish those despite the challenge being over, so you might see me reading them in the next few months. But yeah, let's get into the full-length books that I read as ebooks. Alright, so the first book in this section is The Crying Book by Heather Crystal or Chrisley. I could not find a video of anyone saying her name online, which is what I usually try to do. But yeah, so that's the first book. The next book was The Tradition by Jericho Brown. Next was When I Grow Up, I Want to Be a List of Further Possibilities by Chen Chen. After that is Felon by Reginald Dwayne Betts. Prelude to Bruise by Saeed Jones. Citizen by Claudia Rankin. Junk by Tommy Pico. Faithful and Virtuous Night by Louise Glick. And My Baby First Birthday by Jenny Zhang. I believe those were all the full-length books I read as ebooks. It's hard keeping track. I'm just scrolling through my Goodreads list right now. Alright, so last are the chapbooks that I read as ebooks. All of these come from the Sundress website, so you can check them out there for free. They have them available as PDFs to download. The first chapbook I read was To the Bone by Angela Narciso Torres. Next was Mend by Kristen Latour. Bottomland by Erin Elkins Radcliffe. The Desiring Object or Voyager 2 explains to the gathering stars how she came to glow among them by Jessica Ray Bergamino. Chicken Hawks and Goldilocks by Gray Vild. Reconstruction of the Necromancer by Hannah V. Warren. Wolf Daughter by Amy Watkins, and Epithalamium by Laura Page. That was probably my best take of pronouncing that title, actually. Yeah, so that is the list. I won't go too into what I thought of them because I feel like I did that more in my vlogs, which will, okay, I think the first 3 are out by now, but I have so much footage from this month and I'm kind of like regretting filming all of it because it just feels a little boring, but I try to spice it up with a little bit of background music, a little bit of the food montages. But yeah, so those will be coming out over the next month or 2. Honestly, wow. Okay, it depends because I haven't finished editing all of it or even like looking at all of it, so we'll see how many vlogs actually come out of all that. But yeah, I'll be posting those for a while, so look out for those. Now, I just wanted to talk a little bit about my general thoughts. I had a great time with the Sealey challenge. It really pushed me to read not only I covered this in the last vlog, but you won't see that in a long time probably. It really pushed me not only to read all these books that I'd been meaning to read for so long, and I'm so glad I finally got to read some of them. It also pushed me to read things that probably weren't in my comfort zone, like things that I wouldn't typically reach for. The example that I said in that vlog was one of the chapbooks that I just read was like this horror spin on the Hansel and Gretel fairy tale. And yes, I've dabbled in some magical realism, but this was probably something I would not have reached for before this challenge. And especially because that's not something I would usually think of when I think of poetry. Like a lot of the poetry I've read in the past does not even touch on fantasy. So yeah, it really expanded what I think of as poetry. And I mean, some of these books were also like more experimental in that way, like Bluets and The Crying Book and Citizen. They're formatted as prose poems, but they're not self-contained prose poems. They exist in the context of the entire rest of the book. And then Tommy Pico's book, the entire book was one poem that was told entirely through couplets. So more than anything in this challenge, I feel like I was able to strike a pretty good balance between reading stuff that I was already comfortable with and knew I would enjoy, and then reading things that were way outside of my comfort zone, but I still really ended up enjoying and having a great time with as well. However, on the other hand, and I don't think this is exclusive to the Sealey challenge, I'm sure this happens with most reading challenges, it's really hard. I feel like when I first went into it, I was kind of just like, oh yeah, this sounds fun. Like I didn't really think that much about it. And then once I was like 2 weeks in, I was like, wow, this is a commitment. Like I could comfortably finish some of these books in 12 hours, but it's just those days that you're super busy and can't get any reading time in that really get you, because when you fall behind, it is so hard to catch up again. And if you remember, I started out 3 days late, so it was an uphill battle all along basically, which I did not enjoy so much. I just constantly felt like I was fighting to even be like at the par pace, when it probably would have been a lot better if I just started on pace. But yeah, those were just some observations I had about the whole experience. Definitely let me know down below if you've participated in the Sealey challenge this year or in a previous year, or if you've been a part of any other reading challenges and what you observed from those, because I really do want to know if what I observed here is just more of like a larger theme. So yeah, thanks so much for watching and following along. Look forward to more vlogs coming out every week. And yeah, alright, I'll see you next time. Bye!